headlines. Minister of Education calls national institutions to recognize critical role of teachers during the nation's current challenges of insecurity and economic crisis. Last on the news, Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara described Saturday's local government election in the state as a state affair. From the international scene, Israeli bombing causes large explosion in Beirut, including one close to the international airport during a further night of airstrikes targeting Hezbollah. Details of these and more coming your way soon. To stay with us. Many thanks for joining us at this time. Now, details of the news. The Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Rahman, has called on traditional institutions to recognize the crucial role of teachers, especially during the nation's current challenges of insecurity and economic crisis. Correspondent Kolojo sent in this report. Speaking at the 2024 International Teachers' Day celebration organized by the Colleges of Education Academic Staff Union (COESU), Rahman, represented by Minister of State for Education Dr. Yusuf Sununu, emphasized that teachers' voices must be heard if Nigeria is to develop an education system the country can be proud of. Correspondent Kolojo reports that the minister noted that the current administration acknowledges the essential role of teachers in decision-making and policy formation.
It is on this regard that we have commenced an advocacy visit to all our traditional institutions to recognize the role of teachers so that they can be well utilized, most especially at point of critical need that we are being challenged by both security and economic crisis. Of course, the voice of teachers is indispensable and must be heard. If we are to build an education system we can all be proud of.
JAMB Registrar Professor Ishaq Olayede advocated for renaming federal colleges to advanced teachers' institution to reflect the significance of teaching. Former Registrar of the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, Professor Josiah Ajiboye, criticized the exclusion of Teachers Union from national education meetings. Executive Secretary of TED Fund, Architect Sonny Chono, reassured the union the tax revenue would be used effectively to enhance students' learning experiences and make them competitive globally.
One other aspect of teacher education that I feel strongly about is that the more we change things, the more they become the same. Why did we change the name from Advanced Teachers College? I believe that in order to show the centrality of teaching and the colleges we have,
teachers' voices must be heard. They must not only be seen, they must be heard. Sir, it is a pity that we'll be having a meeting of the National Council on Education in Nigeria and there is no teacher unions there at that meeting. It is a pity. No ASU, no POASU, no any teacher, no NUT.
And to renew the assurances that we continue to dedicate our efforts to ensure that taxpayers' money that are contributed for the development of education in our country is prudently and judiciously deployed to ensure that our students' learning experience will make them more competitive.
Earlier in his address, COESU President Dr. Smart Ulugbeko highlighted the vital role teachers play in shaping societal values, addressing corruption, poverty and insecurity. NLC President Joe Ajaero also expressed dissatisfaction with the 40,000 naira minimum wage for civil servants, stressing the need for wages that can cover living expenses.
We always hear the cliché that teachers are nation's builder. We always hear from them that no nation can develop without teachers. But it is antithetical and contrary to that assertion that government attitude to teachers has not demonstrated what they say.
Have you provided correctly a minimum wage? So for you to show us by example, we need this minimum wage. And there's a trend these days that they are just adding 40,000 or whatever to the minimum wage. COESU, please sit down
sit down with all the agencies and demand for what we are going to get in this minimum wage.
High point of the event was the presentation of scholarships to outstanding students and award to notable agency heads. Now to other stories. Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara in the early hours of Friday stormed the headquarters of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission (RCEC) over alleged attempt by policemen to break into the office. Governor Fubara, alongside his aides and security details, were said to have stormed the RSIEC headquarters at 1 a.m. to prevent evasion by those who referred to as rogue policemen. Correspondent Dele Fasson completes the story.
As early as 1 a.m. on Friday morning, Governor Siminalayi Fubara, his security details, members of the State and National Assembly, as well as some stakeholders, stormed the State Independent Electoral Commission headquarters in Aba Road, Port Harcourt, when he received intelligence report that some policemen had scaled the commission's fence trying to break in. Speaking on his visit to the commission's office, the Rivers State Governor said the move by the police to storm the headquarters prompted his decision.
We came here this morning when we heard that according to what they call themselves, Nigerian police, are coming to take over the premises of Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission. And I had to come myself to find out why would such a thing happen. From what I heard, that DC operation brought them here to withdraw the policemen that are already here protecting this place.
He berated Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun over what he described as the unlawful move by the police, while assuring the people of Rivers State that the local government election will hold tomorrow, Saturday, 5th October 2024.
Go away with your security, but this election must hold. If you like whatever it is you want to do, do it. The election will hold, result will be declared, people will be sworn in. I say it here. What kind of a country is it? And when it comes to the issue of Rivers State, it becomes different. You're not ashamed of yourself. You call yourself Inspector General Police.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough. I will be here. In fact, if I go back and I hear anybody, I will come here. This is my property. And you don't have any power whatsoever to bar me from entering it.
The governor, who left with his entourage after spending over an hour at the RSEC headquarters, charged his supporters to maintain peace in order not to destabilize the democratic process. From Rivers State, Dele Fasson reporting for Galaxy TV News.
And now we are joined by former NBA National Publicity Secretary and Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Kunle Edunsan. He joins us from Warri in Delta State to speak on the legal aspect and other happenings at Saturday, October 5th local government elections in Rivers State. Good evening and thank you so much for joining us on Galaxy TV News. Okay, all right. So there is so much confusion ahead of tomorrow's local government election in Rivers State, which the state governor Siminalayi Fubara says must hold, despite the Federal High Court Abuja order stopping INEC from providing the register. How do you see this, taking into consideration that the governor says RCEC has another court order in Port Harcourt giving it the go-ahead?
Thank you very much. It's quite unfortunate what we are seeing that is playing out in Rivers State. I think all parties ought to abide by the rule of law. If you recall very well, sometime in July this year, the Supreme Court of Nigeria delivered a landmark judgment concerning the financial autonomy of local governments in Nigeria. And the Supreme Court said that all local governments in Nigeria, that they have financial autonomy and that the local government must be run by democratically elected governments. elected government, that is officials that are democratically elected, not appointed. And this judgment was delivered in July this year, 2024. So, pursuant to that judgment of the Supreme Court, I understand that the various states, governments in Nigeria, they commenced the process of conducting elections for the local government officials. Some states have already conducted theirs, and Rivers State is due to conduct it tomorrow. But we later got to understand that a High Court delivered a judgment restraining the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission from handing over its voters register for the purpose of conducting election. I'm not in a position to query or challenge the judgment of the court. The judgment of the court is sacrosanct. However, the question will be, if the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission can conduct the election without the voters register, then good to go. Or if the voters register had earlier been handed over to the Electoral Commission, good to go. So they can always find a way to comply with the judgment of the Supreme Court. I am most particular about the judgment of the Supreme Court because by virtue of the provision of Section 287 of the Constitution, the judgment of the Supreme Court supersedes all judgments. It is superior to the judgment of the Court of Appeal, superior to the judgment of the High Court, any other court in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, all courts, all personalities, all institutions, all government agencies and persons in Nigeria are duty-bound to respect and obey the judgment of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. And the judgment of the Supreme Court is very, very unequivocal to the effect that local governments can only be run by democratically elected officials. And we all know that presently that the Rivers State, the local government in Rivers State, that the tenure of the past local government officials had expired and another election is due to be run. So I will enjoin all parties to respect the judgment of the Supreme Court. However, if any of the parties is dissatisfied with the judgment of the High Court, of course they can very well appeal. That is their right. But the question would be, is the Supreme Court and the judgment of the Supreme Court, which one is more superior? So I will always subscribe to the judgment of the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in the land, to be respected. And by the way, I recall very well that my Lord, the present Chief Justice of Nigeria, who was sworn in substantively as the Chief Justice of Nigeria, my Lord, Honorable Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, did say, did warn against courts of the same coordinated jurisdiction entertaining the same case based on the same facts. So in this case, we have a judgment court, judgment of the Federal High Court, governments coming from left, right, everywhere on the same subject matter. Whereas the Supreme Court has already decided this issue. I expect that in view of the position, the view of the decision of the Supreme Court, that every other court will simply kowtow to the Supreme Court judgment and refuse to entertain any subject matter concerning this particular issue respecting the election of local government officials. So as it is now, I am about to say that the Rivers State government and its officials, they have not complied with the judgment of the Supreme Court, which is contemptuous. So I will urge them to do the needful and comply with the judgment of the Supreme Court.
Okay, all right. So under the law and constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, can the local government election go on with the register RCA claimed it has and without INEC register after claims by the governor that 10 states conducted their local government election with the 2023 register?
The local government register is an important document. It's very mandatory before an election can be conducted because it contains the names and particulars of all the registered voters in any particular vicinity or locality. It's very, very important. Now, we wouldn't know whether before the judgment was delivered, whether the register had actually been transmitted to the appropriate bodies or authorities to conduct the election. We wouldn't know. I don't know how they're going to do it, and I'm not in a position to advise them how to do it. But all I know is that the judgment of the Federal High Court, the bit I read, did not restrain Rivers State government from conducting any election. It only talked about the local government register. How they're going to do it, I don't know. But there's no, to the best of my knowledge, I'm not aware of any judgment of court restraining the conduct of local government election in Rivers State. If there's any judgment that actually pertains to that, then I would wonder how it would be, because the Supreme Court has already decided on that issue, that all local governments must be run by democratically elected governments. And if any step is taken by any government agency or authority or body towards compliance with the Supreme Court judgment, I do not see that as being contentious. I do not say it. But the Supreme Court, like I said earlier, is the apex court of the land. So how are they going to do it, conducting the election without a local government register? I wouldn't know how they're going to do it. However, but the Supreme Court must be respected. That is my position.
Okay, all right. We thank you so much for joining us on our news at this time. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right, and that's Wole Edun San, former NBA chairman. Now moving on to other stories. Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has described Saturday's local government election in the state as a state affair. The governor made this known when he received party leaders and political group members at the government house in Port Harcourt in the state capital. According to Governor Fubara, he is prepared to support the leaders as they prepare for an each-free local government election come Saturday.
I invited everyone of you to give you first the assurance that you have my total support to make sure that we drive this cause to the end. First, because my support is what you need. I might not be a lawyer, but at least I understand that it has nothing to do with any federal agency.
On the issue of the voter register, it stressed that 10 states have conducted local government elections with the 2023 register, and Rivers State should not be different.
10 states have conducted elections with 2023 voters register. These 10 states did not receive any voters register from INEC. I don't know why the Rivers State is different. It's to assure you that as a government we are prepared to support the electoral body to conduct a free, fair, and credible election for the peaceful people of Rivers State.
And still on that election, the Rivers State Police Command has said it would comply fully with the judgment of the Federal High Court Abuja, which barred it from participating in October 5 local government election in the state. The police, however, explained that adhering to the court order does not mean that its operatives will fold their arms and allow social breaches. The spokesperson for the State Police Command, Grace Iringekoko, disclosed this in a statement issued in Port Harcourt. Iringekoko, a superintendent of police, said the decision is a succor to the directives by the Force Legal Department that the ruling from the Federal High Court in September 30, 2024 takes precedence, while insisting that it had studied the two court judgments it received, restraining them from participating. She advised citizens to remain peaceful. You're still on to the news on Galaxy TV. Let's go on a break. When we come back, the news continues. We are glad to have you back. Now, for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with us on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/GalaxyTVNews. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/GalaxyTV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments, as you can easily scan our RG QR code. The Executive Secretary of Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, Professor Garuba Amidu, has advised Nigerian farmers not to concentrate on production of cash crops alone. He made this admonition during the opening of the international conference titled Global Okra Roundtable. The event, which was organized by National Horticultural Research Institute (NIOT) and foreign partner Elders NIOT Ibadan. He advised Nigerian farmers to shift their attention from production of cash crops to production of food crops such as okra. He said the diversification of farmers from cash crop to food crops such as okra will go a long way to meet the focus of the current administration, which has placed more emphasis on diversification of the economy. The Executive Secretary further stated that the Council has the mandate to regulate agricultural research, global training and extension, while the event Global Roundtable Conference is taking place under the promotion of okra, which is Nigerian food and delicacy.
Our purpose is to back up whatever is coming out of this place with legislation, because enough of deliberating and throwing them in the carpet. Whatever is coming out of this place, I can assure you, if it requires legislation, the representative of the minister will take it to the ministry.
It is pertinent to note that okra has high nutritive value and constitutes a part of daily dietary needs of many Nigerians at local and international levels.
As one of its primary mandate crops, okra is the forefront of NIOT breeding and improvements initiatives.
During COVID, vegetables and okra became even more important because of their nutritional quality. Okra is a very, very nutritious crop, and that's why it is not only popular there and also wide Nigeria.
National Emergency Management Agency NEMA has presented liquid gel fertilizers to about 16,169 litres to Benue State Government to be distributed to farmers before end of the planting season. The Zonal Coordinator of North Central Zone, Bashir Gallagher, who represented the Director General of NEMA, said the liquid fertilizers converted from granulated fertilizers has taken into cognizance the sort typical to Benue farming and is safe, stating that the NPK and urea fertilizer is the remaining balance of 2018, the National Food Security Council emergency agricultural intervention due to the crisis. The Principal Private Secretary to the Governor, Dr. Emmanuel Chanj, will receive the fertilizers on behalf of the Benue State Governor. While exercising appreciation for the items, thank NEMA DG for the transparency, just as the Agri Commissioner describes the gesture as unprecedented. Now we move to the international desk for more news.
This is news from the international scene. Israeli bombing caused large explosion in Beirut, including one close to the international airport during a further night of air strikes targeting Hezbollah. The airport bordered near Hezbollah's stronghold in the capital. Plumes of smoke could be seen over the city on Friday morning. U.S. outlets citing Israel officials reported that target was Hashem Safieddine, a cousin of Hezbollah's former leader Hassan Nasrallah. Safieddine has been widely regarded as the most likely candidate to replace Nasrallah after his death in an Israeli strike last week. Lebanon's Public Health Ministry said 37 people had been killed in the ground and air attack in the last 24 hours, while 151 others had been wounded.
And that's it for now, but do join us at 9 p.m. for our primetime news. My name is Iribami Salako. See you then.